everybody. Thank you for joining me again. This is Jasmine, your host of the Ethereal Pathways podcast. I am finishing up my mini-series on the chakra system with today's episode, which is on the crown chakra. This is the seventh chakra. Some people believe that there's a few more above this, and I do need to do more research on that, but because I have seen some information on that and heard some information, but mainstream basically is this is the belief that there are seven main physical body chakra systems, and so that's what I've gone over in this mini series. So crown chakra, I'm gonna learn. I have learned some information on this, but I'm gonna share this information that I've learned, and I'm learning as we go as well. So then I want to add a little bit of my insight and experiences with this chakra, as well as wrap up as a whole why I did this mini series on the chakra system, why I think it's important. So the crown chakra, like I said, it's the seventh chakra. It's located here in the crown of the head. Just think of like you're wearing a princess crown or a king crown, and it's in that area right up here. And if you people that know about the human body, like when a baby is born, that is the area that is the last to close up. This is just coming to me now. This is the second time I've tried to record this episode. I accidentally deleted the first recording, but this didn't come up in the first recording, so I guess this is meant to be in the final recording. But the crown chakra is the last chakra to close up in the human body. When the baby, a lot of you may or may not know, when the infant is born, the plates are, kind of separated a little bit, and they're not fully closed. And so it takes months and months for them to fully close and then seal shut in the hard bone. It's soft. And so I think that's very symbolic of our connection with the divine, because that's what the crown chakra represents, is our connection with unity consciousness, the collective of humanity and all living things, the cosmos, God. And so that's where our oneness comes from. And I feel like when we're born out of the ethereal state, spiritual state, into the physical body, there's a reason why that's the last to close up. We have integrations, we have things going on during our first few months of infancy, and there's a lot to integrate when you're coming back into a small confined human body, especially one of a small little child, from a very expansive soul body. So I think that's very interesting how the human body, integrates that change and over months and months, because it's such a huge, drastic denseness that you have to fit into. I think it's very interesting. But we're going to go a little bit over some more information about this. So it serves as the gateway to the divine consciousness, to wisdom and universal connection, oneness with all things. It's the symbol for this chakra is 1,000-petal lotus, and it's often associated. This chakra is often associated with a violet or a white light. It connects the physical body to the spiritual realm for enlightenment and inner peace. When it's balanced, it can bring clarity and purpose to your life. When it's blocked, it can cause spiritual disconnect, confusion, disorientation in the physical body. And I'll go over into some more of those symptoms in more detail in a second. It can mean, you could feel more meaningless, like you have no purpose to your life, everything's meaningless. And a lot of those things can be addressed through, meditation, yoga, spiritual practices like, you're praying to, God, whatever you want to believe in, and you restore that connection on a regular basis. And mindfulness, having mindfulness is about your actions and, your beliefs and things like that as well. So location, we've kind of discussed that. It's at the crown of the head here. And it connects to the cerebral cortex. So I'm just being guided to look this up. I don't know where this is coming from. This just hit me. I want to look into this. So the cerebral cortex and the spiritual meaning behind this. There's something coming up. There's a link there. So, and I think I just talked about it, and I don't know why this is being highlighted now, but it is for a purpose. Well, that makes sense. Okay, so, you know, initially the results come back, obviously, particularly the link between spirituality and cerebral cortex, particularly the parietal. I don't know how I'm saying that, if I'm saying that right. Parietal cortex, maybe is how you say it, has been identified as a key region involved in spiritual experiences. So that makes sense, you know. Research indicates that activity in this area is common among individuals who have experienced various spiritual states, such as a sense of connection to something greater to oneself. This region is involved in awareness of self and others, as well as attention processing. So the study suggests that there is a neurobiological home for spirituality in the human brain, um, where the parietal cortex activates when individuals feel a sense of connection with something greater than themselves. This activation is observed across different cultures and throughout recorded history, highlighting the universality of spiritual experiences. Um, it's got a little bit more here. I'm going to read through this. Oh, interesting. The findings underscore the importance of understanding the neural mechanisms underlying spiritual experiences, which may have profound impacts on people's lives and could aid in the recovery from mental health and addictive disorders. The research method used by Yale scientists involved creating personalized imagery scripts for participants to recall their spiritual episodes, followed by MRI scans to observe brain activity during these experiences. Um, the study's results indicate that there is a consistent pattern of activity in the parietal cortex across individuals who have experienced spiritual states, suggesting a common cognitive basis for spirituality. So, um, I think that it's very, I think that they figured this out a while back. There a lot of these addiction centers do have a basis in like a form of spirituality, and a lot of them it's Christianity, whatever. Basically, what they're saying here, a sense of connectedness to something bigger than yourself, um, and overall, really oneness with everything around you, your humanity and everything. And I think that that's really interesting. I was guided to look that up, but somebody needed to hear that. So I'm going to go back to my notes here that I have drawn up here on this, because I've learned, quite a bit more about this crown chakra, as I did a little bit of research on it. So like I said, the color connected to this chakra is violet or white light. Um, I already went through the balance. So location, symbolism, the very top of the head, connecting the cerebral cortex. A symbol is a thousand-petaled lotus, lotus with 1,000 petals, representing infinity and divine connection. Element for this chakra is consciousness or thought. Signs of a balanced crown chakra. The benefits are spiritual awareness, enlightenment, deep inner peace, clarity, purpose, and connection to the divine. The feelings you will experience when you have it in balance are gratitude, compassion, wisdom, and unity for the universe. Signs of a blocked or imbalanced crown chakra. You may be feeling a bit unstable in your physical body. That's something I did not know before. I don't know why I thought, because I have often had cases of vertigo in my life, especially in the last 5 years. I've had a severe case lasting 6 weeks, not too long ago, maybe 3 years ago. And I had to get those little patches from the doctor. I think he gave me the patches behind my ear, and then I later got patches on my arm, and it finally went away. And let me tell you, it made me vomit. I've never experienced anything like that other than being on a boat without, the medicine, what they call that stuff. I can't remember. But, the motion sickness medicine. And that's the only time I can remember being like that. Your head's spinning constantly and you're scared to move because your head's going to go in a spin and you're going to start throwing up again and feeling sick. And I did not think that was associated with really a chakra, even weeks ago. I never thought about that and how physical symptoms like that could represent an imbalance in the crown chakra. And I thought, if anything, you're thinking it's right here by your ears, by your throat, that would be, where that connection is. But, it kind of makes me wonder if it's, it's part of your equilibrium, your balance. So I guess it would be associated with the crown chakra. Maybe it's both. So anyway, I thought that was pretty interesting. I'm learning a lot from this. Some of the physical signs of a blocked seventh chakra or crown chakra could be feeling disconnected, cynical, feeling meaningless, lonely, or overly intellectual without spiritual grounding. That's one that I've struggled with throughout my life. And me having Aquarius rising, which is an air sign. Air signs are known to be intellectuals and get caught up in our thoughts, and we overthink things to the nth degree and really overcomplicate things a lot of times because of it. We kind of get it in our way sometimes, and I can see how I've definitely had that happen in my life where it's gotten in my way and it's caused me to get stuck and not make decisions and not move forward due to overthinking things and confusing myself in the process. Confusion is another symptom, a lack of connection to the world, hyper spiritualization, or basically too much meditation, poor mental functioning, a lack of focus, imbalance in the physical body, poor coordination, low ability to function physically. How to balance your crown chakra. Obviously, meditation and yoga is going to be some really good ways to do that. Yoga, if you're looking for yoga poses, that's going to be the headstand, child's pose, or the corpse pose. Meditations are going to be chanting or repeating phrases about unity and wisdom and oneness. Spending time out in nature, it says it's really good for that, or natural settings. Essential oils that are good to help with, removing or balancing this chakra, removing imbalances and blockages, is frankincense and lavender. I love both of those. Mental signs. When working with the crown chakra, some recommendations they say you can maybe a journal prompt. You can spend time thinking about the world around you and drawing the attention away from yourself. Not everything's about you. You know what I mean? Why is this happening to me? That's our victim mentality, our ego, and that happens to us so much in this life, and we can fall victim to that at any given moment. But choosing not to stay in that and, refocusing your focus on the world around you, how everything is integrated, everything affects one another, in our co-creative consciousness. We're all co-creating this reality, and how it's not all about you. Not everything's happening to you. There's things happening to people around you too. And sometimes we can get so stuck in the victim mentality that we forget, other people around us are going through things very similar to us, or things more difficult than us. And, we need that balance. We need to, recognize when we get too far in that way, and we need to come back out of it and say, you know what, no, it could be way worse. It's not about me. It could be way worse. So-and-so over here needs me, or this person, look at what they're going through. I'm going to pray for them. So that's just an easy way to get stuck in it, and so you could be asking yourself, some questions you can ask yourself, for journal prompts could be, or introspection could be, how am I connected to the world? What is my part in this play, or in this, some people call it a matrix. But what is my part in all this? And how can I, help others and feel oneness with others by helping them? And how could I become a better version of myself in that process? How can I let go of confusion about my place in the world, about my purpose? What am I here to do? Why am I here? So something else that I had a question about personally that I went ahead and looked into, and I think this would help others too that are kind of like me or kind of new to the chakras and learning about them. And I'm going to kind of go over and give my final thoughts on the whole chakra system here at the end. But I wanted to know the difference because I know that the upper, you got your throat, third eye chakra, and your crown chakra are more integrated for the feminine side, right? And more towards the divine, more speaking your truth, spiritual, bringing enlightenment, bringing, you know, basically you're bringing knowledge and wisdom and things like that to the earth in the physical realm through your connection in the upper three chakras. One thing that I was getting some things confused was what's the difference between the third eye chakra and the crown chakra. And so a lot of you may be asking the same question because I'm still learning. And so I did a little bit of research about that, and I'm going to read some things about that. Kind of cleared it up a little bit for me. So how that is different, the third eye chakra, and we're going to review what last week's episode was about, third eye chakra. If you haven't seen it, I'm going to go over this a little bit here, just quickly. It's about your inner vision. It's over your inner vision, your intuition, and your mental clarity center between, your eyebrows right here. That's like the eye of Ra, the third eye, right back there. It's a pineal gland. It's for processing the spiritual insights. And the crown chakra is your receiver. It's your antenna. So crown chakra is for receiving, spiritual insights from the divine realms and bringing it down into the third eye to integrate it and process it. And so you can speak it or integrate it like into your vision, or, you shift your reality around you in some way. So processing and receiving. So makes sense because receiving is at the top of the head. And I think, again, I'm bringing it back to that. When I say top of the head, receiver, when we're born, we have it open. There's no coincidences in anything. Our human body is made a certain way, and it forms and it grows a certain way for a reason. And it's not just a physical reason. It's to integrate the physical and the spiritual together as one. And, I think that's really neat how I learned that. And that was just how I was guided to do that. And I wasn't guided to do that in the first recording because apparently that one wasn't meant to stay. I think that's funny. But we go over a little bit more here on the third eye chakra. So third eye chakra is processing spiritual insights. It's your connection to universal consciousness, enlightenment, divine wisdom. Receiving and integrating higher awareness. The third eye acts as the receiver processor of the spiritual data coming down from the crown. And the crown is the antenna, linking you to the cosmos, enabling unity and transcendence above the ego or human mind. Third eye, intuition, imagination, wisdom, clarity, psychic perception, seeing beyond the physical. Like your spiritual, your clairs, things like that. That's what those are working through your third eye chakra. The focus, inner knowing, discernment, understanding, illusions. Crown, spiritual enlightenment, universal connection, pure consciousness, divine wisdom, oneness. And the focus is transcending self, unity, and divine universe, spiritual awakening. Key differences, like I said, third eye is about seeing spiritual truths. You see them in your spiritual eye, kind of like what Jesus said. Those who have eyes to see and ears to hear, let him hear what I'm saying. That's what a lot of, hear some verses in the Bible talking about that. That's what that is talking about. And I think a lot of us know that by now, if we're Christian. That's what he was talking about. He's talking about your third eye, your spiritual eyes have been opened because you've done the work. You've humbled yourself. You've been communing with the divine regularly. You've been trying to exercise that and keep that unblocked. And if it weren't for you doing the work and introspecting, changing your ways, that's what repentance in the Bible is talking about, is change the way you think and you act about things. Change the way your perspective, change the way you're looking at things and how you react. Change your ways. Okay? That's what repentance is about. Change the way you're looking at things. Take yourself out of the way you've been raised to believe a certain way, and this is the only way it is, and you're staying in a box like this. Take yourself out of that. Open up your eyes and see what's around you. And that takes work. It takes a lot of work, and it takes humbling, and it takes exercise and your connection with the divine to do that. And it's not easy, but it's worth it. That's what the chakra system is for integration, spiritual with the human body. And without that, we're going to have a lot of imbalances. We're going to have physical pains. We're going to have all kinds of things that are going to come up in our body, in our mind, in our mental state, emotional state, that are going to be out of control and imbalanced. We're not going to have that inner peace. So that's how everything, the chakra system, works together. And that's a lot of what I've learned over the last year when I started, looking into the chakra system. So I didn't finish the key differences. So key differences: third eye is about seeing the spiritual truths. Crown is about being or embodying the truth. Action is third eye processes spiritual messages. Crown receives. Again, we went over that. Level: third eye is higher consciousness, intuition. Crown is pure unified consciousness or divinity. So I hope that helps some people out there know the use or why we have a chakra system. They are energy centers located in the back of the spine, down throughout the body, that integrate different areas. And if you want to go down another rabbit hole that I started going down recently, look into reflexology, look into the meridians in the body. They're connected to the chakra systems and the energy centers. And so a lot of information is starting to come out now in, now that we have more communications, we have more social media, and a lot more people are doing documentaries. They're doing, what they call this GoFundMe documentaries, like that, crowdfunding. And they're bringing out the truths of some of these things for people to understand that even with dental work, root canals, things like that, if there is stuff not removed from the body properly, it can mess up other parts of your body through the meridian system. And because your teeth are even connected to your energetic system. So that's something I learned this last year too. It was really interesting how they had studies starting going in that direction and linking a lot of these infections and things to different parts of the body and ailments in other parts of the body where there was an imbalance somewhere. So I think that there's more research that I'd like to do in that regard and bring that to everybody, as I learn that. So I think that's really interesting to hear about that coming up now. So I hope this information helps you guys. The chakra systems, this kind of sums it all up in this episode and ends that mini series. I'm hoping to have a guest on. It's a friend of mine. It's been a longtime friend, probably 17 years now. And she, has a spiritual gift, or I think probably more than one, and one that I think of right away. She wants to share a little bit about her spiritual experiences. I'm going to try to have her on next week's episode. But, we got to work out, the timing and things like that and see when we can work that in to our busy schedules. We both got kids and live a couple states apart. So, hopefully I will have that for next week. If not, I'll try to work out something else. But thank you so much for joining me. Feel free to add any comments or your experiences in the comments to any of these chakras or blockages that you've experienced or information that you've learned in addition to this that I've shared. I'd love to hear your stories. If you want to share privately, I've left my email in the description box. So thank you again for supporting me and listening to my podcast. And I'd love for you to share, subscribe. You don't have to actually share it. I think the algorithm will pick it up if you hit the share button and not particularly share it. So sorry about that. So anyway, I hope you join me for a future episode. I hope this helps, and leave you all in love and light, and God bless.